All right, today on the Mortgage and Money Morning Show, we've got a very special guest expert today because I get asked a lot of questions in the mortgage business about real estate, and I defer them to my real estate friends because they're the experts in real estate. And Lyndsey Hodge is one of those experts with Remax Lakeshore Realty, and Lyndsey's our guest today. We're going to talk a little bit about some tips that you should adhere to if you're getting set to list your house, because this is the time when people are starting to think about listing for the spring or maybe even before Christmas for quick sales. But Linz, before we get into the real estate stuff, I want to congratulate you on your first ever fitness competition on the weekend, last weekend,
Thank you.
with Ultimate Fitness Events. Tell us a little bit about the big day and how it went.
So, considering things were all over the place with audience on, audience off, you got to be here, you got to be there, you're texted from your room. Like there was a whole bunch of things that I guess I understand would be different than the normal. It went off really well. The staff were great. The competitors were great. It was just a really amazing experience. So yeah, it was lots of adrenaline pumping. I don't think I came down till like 1 a.m. by the time the day was over.
And this is all the more special for you, I think, because you and I have talked off camera a lot of times about sort of your journey through this whole thing and how fitness came into your life and where you were, say, 5 or 6 years ago or 10 years ago versus where you are today. How kind of transformational has this experience been for you?
Well, I pushed my limits because I literally 5 to 6 years ago said there's no way I could ever do a competition. Like I looked at people doing it and thought, great, that's awesome, but there's no way. And I just decided, I'm turning 40. I've had my kids. Time to get my act together. So
Time to do something for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, congratulations, my friend, on a
Thank you.
massive success. I know it was really far out of your comfort zone to do that.
Completely.
But now that you've done this, do you feel kind of like, this is a huge accomplishment? Does this give you confidence moving forward to do kind of anything else you want to do?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. I think it really opens up a lot of opportunities. Again, I won't be saying I can't do something. If I want to try it, I'm going to do it. Worst case, I don't ever do it again.
You're bulletproof. I love this. This is great. Let's get into the real estate side of things. On top of being an ultimate fitness event competitor, you're also a rock star real estate agent who has been killing it for the last several years. And I know how busy your season has been this year. You guys have had almost record years. Let's talk about tips for people that are looking to list their home, because for people that are not in the real estate business, the process of putting your home on the market for a lot of people just seems like, well, I'll call my agent and we'll list the house and we'll sell it next week. At least that's what it feels like in this marketplace. But there really is some specific steps that you guys take as real estate professionals to make sure that your client gets the most out of the sale of their house, the most in terms of awareness in your marketing plan, but also at the end of the day, the biggest dollars. And let's walk through some of those steps, because you've sort of put together 5 really easy tips that people should follow in terms of listing their home. What's the first one? Where do you want to start?
So number one would definitely be to consult with a professional realtor who has local in-depth knowledge. So you want someone who's familiar with your marketplace, who knows what's happening in the current market, and who can tell you, what that means for the near future and how things are projecting to look. So
that's really important when it comes to pricing, because I think as people not in the real estate industry, we tend to have a distorted view of what our house is worth. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, you lead with emotions, right? So sometimes, the market may not add up to how our hearts feel, or vice versa. Maybe we are undercutting our, most prized possession. So it's good to know where exactly, what that looks like.
What about step number 2? You've consulted the realtor, you've talked about the market situation. What's the next thing we should do?
Yeah. So creating and following a listing plan, which can include such things as decluttering, depersonalizing, just really getting your home prepped and ready to be show ready. So we do have a stager, Candace, actually, of New Nest Home Staging. We use her quite a bit. She's amazing. She'll come in too and offer some consultations with clients, just because sometimes you may not know exactly where to begin, or, maybe you would do more than you even need to do. So good to have that expertise as well.
Shout out to Candace Menifee, by the way. I know who you're speaking with. And I think that when you have an extra set of eyes that comes into the house that doesn't have the same emotional attachment to the property that you might have, they see the property in a different way. They see the home in a different way. And when it comes to setup for the home in terms of showing potential buyers what the home could look like in the buyer's eyes, that's really the goal of the staging, right?
Exactly. You're really handing your home. There goes my microphone. Sorry.
That's okay.
That's for the outtakes, please.
We'll just put it back up there.
Yeah, you're really giving your home to the market at that point. So you have to kind of pull yourself out of your home and really create and market to the consumer.
Is that difficult for a lot of people?
It can be, because, you know, the thought of taking down your family photos and putting those things away can be, you know, emotionally draining. But most people, you know, are pretty open, because at that point they've already kind of moved on, if that makes sense. They're already moving in their mind. So they understand. And sometimes, yeah, it's just explaining, you know, why these things are a good idea.
When it comes to the presentation side of things, staging is part of it. But then on the real estate side, you guys have a number of things that you do to show the home and show the property in its best light, in terms of what you guys do with your marketing. And what's that process like for a buyer or for a seller?
That's right. So our presentation goes anywhere from full staging, professional photos, drone photography, videos, and a new actual system called Matterport, which is almost, well, I call it the dollhouse, because it's literally like a 3D view of your whole home. And you can pretty much like, you know, enter rooms. It's like you're literally walking through the home. So it's really cool. And, you know, considering COVID and all of its restrictions and safeties, it's really good to have as much visual as you can, because people are making first impressions more now than ever on realtor.ca or on those websites before they're even, you know, picking up a phone or sending out an email.
It's funny you mentioned that, because especially with COVID now, the number of people looking at properties remotely or online, you know, they have a chance to make a pretty good idea of their perception of the property before they even step into it with the technology you guys are using now.
Exactly. And that's actually what we want, only because we are looking out for the safety of our sellers, of ourselves, of the buyers. Like, so really we're trying to minimize as much face-to-face still as possible. So we try to put everything and anything out there so people can make the decisions before they're wanting to just, you know, come in and view someone's home. So
last item on the list was prepare for showings. I love that you had made a note about prepare a go bag.
Well, hey, you know,
Like
you
an
might
escape.
need a snack or, you know, a change of shoes. I have no idea. But if you leave something by the door, that if you know you're on the run and you need to leave, you know, you can grab it and go. If you can leave your home for a few days, especially in the beginning, because that's likely when you're going to have the most traffic through the house. If you can go stay with, you know, your parents or your friends, that, you know, would be easier for you. Then you're not coming and going all the time and, you know, on the fly.
Well, I want to talk a little bit too about that, because especially in this marketplace, the last 8 or 9 months, we're in the middle of a pandemic and the market just went crazy for 6 or 7 months. And when that kind of traffic is happening, like, were you finding it in your listings and for your buyers that you were showing listings to, like, after the first 4 or 5 months of COVID, as we sort of got used to the new normal, were there still a tremendous amount of showings like that, or were people doing showings remotely?
Yeah, no, by May. So really March and April, when stuff first went down, and then into the following month, it was extremely quiet. Like, my phone was not ringing. I was just talking to clients more on personal level to make sure everybody was okay, see if I could help. And then May hit, and I literally sat across the table from Tim and said, I think I'm about to get busy. And it was physical showings. People were ready to get back out. I think they had been locked up for, you know, long enough. So they wanted to try and at least find some kind of normal in this possibly, you know, long-term non-normal. So,
and it looks like this is what it's going to be like for a while, right?
Exactly. So again, all about being safe, mask, gloves, wipes, like, gosh, Lord knows we should all have, you know, stakes in these things now. So,
right.
You know, it's just about being safe. But yeah, I felt like people were comfortable and I was comfortable. So I think, you know, between the people I was working with, it all worked out well. And that, so yeah.
Before we let you go, I want to circle back to the pricing element of this, because on the mortgage and finance side, I kind of see the final product after you guys have come to terms with a sale price and a negotiated price in the sale and all that kind of stuff. But for people that are listing their home, you know, they look at other things that are happening in the area, or a friend has said, oh, I got this much for my home, or this much for my home on the end of the street. So their preperceptions are, this is what my home is worth. Walk people through a bit of the process of how, as realtors, you guys come about a fair market price that makes sense for both the seller and the market, to make sure that the home is priced and listed properly so that it will A, sell, and B, get the most return for the seller.
Exactly. So first of all, you're going to want to really look at what's been happening in the market. So you want to look at your solds. Big things are, what has sold, say, in the past, month or two, because things are so ever changing. And with COVID and everything, definitely a good idea to do your research. So that is where I would start, is doing that. Then I would just arrive, depending on the client's situation as well. Some people are, I want to go on the higher side, or, I want to be more competitive. So you can choose your strategy. I have seen a lot lately where things are coming slightly below market value in order to generate multiple offers, and, highest price possible. So it really depends on the situation and what your client is, looking to get out of it. So depending on their motivation, you can kind of go either way. But things like, honestly, the numbers right now, so compared to 2019, 475, 186 for residential sales in Northumberland County last year. 51 days on market was the average. Right now, this was for October. This year, 602, 287 was the average price with 29 days on market. That's the average.
That's almost a 30% increase.
27%. Yeah, 27% jump for October, which generally is, in the midst of our fall market, but sometimes can go either way. It's a bit of a swing month. So, that speaks volumes. So I can only imagine what the rest of the year will look like leading into 2021. I think projections are still there to remain high and steady.
Well, listen, I know you've actually got another call to make on an offer we were discussing before this. Yeah. And I know that whenever we get together with friends, be it either on Zoom or if we've got a couple of friends coming over for a barbecue, real estate comes up in the conversation every single time. So for people that have real estate questions, let them know the best way to get in touch with you.
You can reach me on my cell at any time, which is 289-251-1103. You can always check out my team's website, sydneysells.com, or you can find us on Facebook, Sydney Fairman Group.
Lyndsey Hodge is a rockstar real estate agent with the Sydney Fairman Group at Remax Lakeshore Realty, and now a UFE competitor, which is kind of awesome to put in your title.
Yeah, that's my resume.
Linz, I'm grateful for your expertise. I'm grateful for your time, and continued success in the fall market, my friend. Thanks for joining us.
Great. Thanks for having me again, Joel. Take care.
Don't forget, if you missed an episode of the Mortgage and Money Morning Show, you can always check our YouTube channel. You'll find me on YouTube at Joel J.M. Scott. Make sure you click the like and subscribe button and hit the little bell notification to get updates when we post new videos. Thanks for watching the Mortgage and Money Morning Show.